The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning to you here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us on a Thursday. I'm Maddie Jansen. And now to some developing news. A woman's in critical condition this morning after a shooting outside the Valley Plaza Mall. Multiple bullet holes in that car window. There were also several shell casings on the ground. You can see a woman being loaded into an ambulance. Police tell us she is in critical condition. No word on any arrests or what led up to the shooting. And an update now on a large wildfire that continues to burn west of Interstate 5 near Frazier Park. The Takuya fire started shortly after we went off air yesterday morning. It's burned 50 acres and was just 10% contained as of the last update. More than 300 firefighters are on scene working to knock down the flames. And meantime, crews have the upper hand on another wildfire that was threatening homes in eastern Kern County. It started Monday along Highway 58 near Hart Flat. Firefighters worked from the air and ground to contain the Beale fire and protect homes there. It burned 61 acres, and as of last update, it was 90% contained. And this morning, the East fire is 100% contained. The fire started Tuesday afternoon off Round Mountain Road, right across the river from Hart Park. It burned 1,500 acres, but no buildings were damaged. However, another fire, this one at a home in northeast Bakersfield, turned deadly. It's not the only home to go up in flames recently. 17's Cecilia Trevino has more.
Just after 4 a.m. Wednesday, fire crews were called to West Point Drive to a house fire near Bakersfield College. Heavy flames were coming from the front and side of the house, where the roof caved in. Fire officials confirmed the resident, an elderly woman, and her cat died in the fire.
If your smoke detector goes off and you think that there is a fire inside your house, get outside of the residence, use your cell phone or go to the neighbor's house, and then from there call 911. First thing we want you to do is make sure that you are safely out of the residence.
Less than 8 hours later, another house fire was reported on Sioux Creek Drive near Callaway Drive and the West Side Parkway. Just before noon, the flames spread from the garage to the attic. Residents made it out. However, one of their 3 dogs did not. The American Red Cross can help you stay safe.
We have smoke alarms for people who need them on a per need basis, and if they contact our office, we can set up an appointment to come in and install a free smoke detector.
Briggs recommends one smoke detector for every living space in your home.
If your smoke alarm goes off, you have a 50% chance of surviving a home fire. And we know that just from our history and from what fire departments tell us, you have 2 minutes to escape your home when the smoke alarm goes off.
And remember, if your smoke detector is beeping, it needs your attention. Either a battery change or a replacement. You can test your detector by clicking the test button. Cecilia Trevino, 17 News.
Making news around the nation, it appears a pair of political heavyweights will go toe-to-toe this fall. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has accepted a formal offer from California Governor Gavin Newsom to take part in a debate. It comes as the two have publicly feuded and traded insults about the way the other runs their respective states. In a statement, a Newsom spokesperson said Governor Newsom has been challenging DeSantis to debate for months and sent him a formal debate offer last week. November 8th or 10th, DeSantis should put up or shut up. Anything else is just games, end quote. Last night on Fox News Channel, DeSantis says he is, quote, absolutely game to debate Newsom, but did not elaborate on a specific date or time. DeSantis later wrote this on X, the site formerly known as Twitter. The debate between California and Florida is already over. People have been voting with their feet for years. But the debate about the future of our country is one we need to have. I'm game to talk about my plans to reverse the decline in the country anytime, anywhere, because I have the best vision for the future of our country, end quote. It remains unclear where such a debate would take place or how the ground rules would work. We'll keep you posted. 17 Court Watch this morning, a former CHP officer is going to jail. Brian Pardue was arrested back in 2020 for exchanging sexually graphic messages on a dating app with a person who claimed she was 16. That person, though, was actually an investigator operating a decoy account. 53-year-old Pardue was an officer at the time. Last month, Pardue was found guilty of soliciting a minor. Yesterday, a judge sentenced him to a year in custody and 2 years of felony probation. He'll also have to register as a sex offender. A 60-year-old man accused of exposing himself to a teenage girl has been arrested. Police say it happened Tuesday night in South Bakersfield. The 16-year-old told officers a man offered her money to perform a sex act and then exposed himself to her. Police arrested Sukhbinder Singh a short time later. He faces charges of indecent exposure and contacting a minor to commit a felony. And now to our coverage of our state's housing crisis. If you are hoping to buy a first-time home and you've been thinking about checking out the market, you need to be informed of new pricing. 17's Aaliyah Fitzgerald has more on the latest increases.
These past few years have seen lots of changes to our everyday lives, but also to our wallets. From the federal interest rates dropping to nearly 0% to housing markets having several hopeful buyers and not enough houses. With increased inflation, many Californians are asking themselves if they'll ever be homeowners in the Golden State.
It's no surprise the cost of living gets higher and higher every day. The Californian American dream is argued to be slipping away through lack of real estate available and harsh bidding wars.
We're expecting the median price in Bakersfield to be $395,000.
The recommended down payment on a home is 20%. On that $395,000 house, that's a whopping $79,000. That doesn't even include closing costs either. For the median Kern County income of $59,000 per household, is this reasonable? California tried to step in to help through the Dream for All program, a program designated to help allocate funds to first-time home buyers to put down 20%. All $300 million towards this was drained in just 11 days. This leaves other Californians with the question of, will I be able to buy a Californian home within this lifetime?
Oh, most definitely not.
What are Kern County residents left to do?
It may take you 2, 3, 4, 5 years to save up enough money for a down payment.
But keep in mind, interest rates and other economic stakes might change throughout the years, and so could your income.
Interest rates may go down, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a position that, yes, I can realize the American dream.
If not, Californians might just be priced out of paradise.
Now, let's say you do wind up putting 20% down on that $395,000 home. Your payment still might be a little over $1,400 a month on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. This is something for you to be thinking about if you are a person hoping to buy a home in the near future. In studio, Aaliyah Fitzgerald, 17 News.
Today, former President Donald Trump will appear in a federal courtroom in Washington, D.C., accused in a 4-count indictment of efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election and subvert lawful votes. This is Trump's third indictment, the prior two turning into his most lucrative fundraising days on record. Security is tight in the D.C. courthouse. NBC's Drew Petramos on Capitol Hill.
Barriers surround a courthouse in Washington, D.C., where former President Trump is set to be arraigned today in front of a federal judge. He's facing 4 felony counts for what prosecutors say were Trump's efforts to remain in power even after he lost the 2020 election to Joe Biden. Despite Trump's claims that the prosecution is a political hit, his former Vice President Mike Pence says Trump did pressure him to overturn the election.
And on that day, President Trump asked me to put him over the Constitution, but I chose the Constitution, and I always will.
After Pence refused, prosecutors say Trump used an angry mob assembled at the Capitol on January 6 to pressure Pence more directly. The indictment says Trump also led a scheme to overturn election results in 7 states.
Pressuring Mike Pence, gathering false slates of electors, trying to weaponize the Justice Department by sending letters to legislatures suggesting they reconvene and substitute their own slates of electors. It's all of that conduct that is the gist of this case.
This is the third indictment for Trump. This one splitting candidates in the Republican primary.
But I believe each of these indictments, Brett, reek of politicization.
Donald Trump, for the good of the country, should drop out of the race.
Voters also weighing in.
If ever he has earned and deserved something, it's another indictment.
If he's on the ballot, my plan is to vote for him.
Trump remains the far and away leader in the Republican race and is using his legal troubles to rally supporters and rake in campaign cash. The federal judge presiding over this case is Tanya Chutkan. She is an Obama appointee known for handing out tough prison sentences to people involved in the January 6th riot. Drew Petrimo, NBC News, Washington.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.